look, if you remember the last time we said the first time I preached about the man at the pool of Bethesda, I told you that you need to look up, reach out, and then get up. Second time I was here, I preached from Isaiah 40, and I said that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not grow weary. They shall walk and not faint. That topic was, I don't mind waiting. But I told you that you need to get ready, live it, and then receive it. On today, we're going to see what the Lord has from Exodus, the 17th chapter. Beginning at verse number 8. Exodus, the 17th chapter. Beginning at verse number 8. If you have it, please stand. We'll be reading from the King James Version. Exodus 17th chapter. Beginning at verse number 8. Exodus tells us a lot about ourselves because we can model ourselves like the children of Israel. So many times they were hard-headed as they were being led to the promised land. 8 verse says, Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men, and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that the children of Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took stone and put it under him and set up thereupon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side, the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. Verse 13 said, And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. Look at your neighbor and say, Neighbor, come out with your hands up.
All right now.
Come out with your hands up. Come out with your hands up. I graduated with a degree in forensic science and criminal justice, and so I like to watch a lot of television shows that deal with crime. So one of the shows I like to watch is Cops. And on Cops, the camera crew is following these officers around and as they're trying to perform their duties. And then sometimes on Cops, they get in some situations sometimes that may require them to disarm a criminal. And one of the cops might issue a command and say, Show me your hands. And then walk out slowly with your hands up. I want to tell you on today that God is issuing the same command to us. That we need to learn how to put our hands up. The enemy sometimes comes and he comes to kill us and tries to destroy us. But I want to tell you that if you keep your hands up, if you give it over to God, God can work some things out for you. So then this first thing is surrender. When we surrender, we're just telling the Lord that I can't handle it anymore. It's not my own, but I'm putting it in your hands. Have you ever been to the point in your life where you just had to surrender to God? You had tried everything that you could. You had tried going to everybody, but then as a last resort, you finally put your hands up and realize that, Lord, I can't handle it by myself, so I'm putting it in your hands. I looked up the definition of surrender. Surrender means to give up completely or to agree to forego, especially in favor of another. Has anybody in this building had to ever completely give up? Sometimes in my life, I just had to realize there was just some things that were beyond my control. It was some things that were bigger than me. But then I realized that there was somebody whose hand was bigger than my hand. Somebody who was able to handle my problems as well as my neighbor's problems, as well as Deacon Shower's problem. And then as he held everything. He's not one who has to put one thing down to handle another problem, but he's able to handle everything at one time. So the children of Israel have left Egypt. These people are walking from Egypt, and they're trying to get to the land that was promised to them from the Lord. And the Bible declares that as they have left Egypt, the Bible declares that as Pharaoh is on their trail, God tells Moses, he just said, stretch out your hand. Because you got something in your hand that is powerful. And if you stretch out your hand with the rod in your hand, he said, then I'll part this Red Sea. He said, and then Pharaoh and his army are going to be swallowed up. Sometimes people get on your trail and you're wondering how you're going to make it through. But I'm just telling you to lift up your hands. And as they're on your trail, sooner or later, if you put your hands up, God will begin to work some things out in your favor. And so this happens, and so as they're still walking after Pharaoh and his men died, the Bible declares that they get to a point between Sinai and where they're going, and the Bible declares that these people start to complain. They said, Lord, you allowed us to come from Egypt, and then you're going to leave us in this place hungry so we can die. Said that Jesus, God, Moses said, Lord, these folks are ready to kill me. They're on his trail and they're complaining. And Moses said, Lord, I need you to do something. And so the Bible declares that God tells Moses, he said, I'm going to allow for manna to fall from heaven. Not only did he allow for some manna to fall, but he began to allow for the quails to come and drop some meat. Don't you know, in the middle of your desert, in the middle of your valley, God will make a way out of nowhere. When you thought it wasn't no way out, God began to allow some stuff to happen for you. When you said it wasn't going to happen, when people said, I don't know how you're going to make it through, God said, I put a ram in the bush. And I'll make some things happen when there should not be a way. So it said that God allowed for manna to fall from heaven, more than these people even have enough to receive. And so as God does this for them, it said they begin to walk again, and they get to a place called Rephidim. As they get here, the Bible declares that these people get thirsty. Now, I imagine that they would be thirsty from all the walking that they're doing. And it says, so as they get here to Rephidim, they begin to complain again. They begin to tell Moses, well, you should have left us in Egypt. Why did you allow for us to come here? Not only for us to come, but you allowed for our cattle to come, and you're going to allow for all of us to die. And Moses said, Lord, I'm coming to you again because these people are ready to stone me. These people are quarreling against Moses, and Moses said, Lord, I need you to do something. God tells Moses, he said, take you and some of your men, he said, go on to the stone. He said, the rod that's in your hand, if you strike the stone, he said, water will begin to flow for these people. And so after he satisfies this, don't you know that when you handle one thing, something else will pop up? The Bible declares that as they're in Rephidim, Rephidim means resting place, or a place of rest. And there, don't you know that when you're in your resting place, that's when you begin to catch the most hell. The place where you should have some comfort, the place where you should be able to relax, that's when the devil begins to attack you. At home, you ought to be able to have some rest, but it seems like when you go home, you catch hell there too. You go to work and try to have some peace, and then it seems like the balls get up on your trail. And when you go leave from work, and you say, well, I'm going to go down to the church house, and I should have some peace there. But some reason, then the people at the church are acting up. In your resting place, that's where it seems like the devil begins to attack you. And so here it is. As God is beginning to handle all of these other problems, then the other problems begin to show up. And these people forget what God has already done for them. And so it says that Moses begins to tell the people as Amalek comes, and they just attack him for no reason at all. Israel has not even gotten to the promised land, and they're already encountering some enemies. Sometimes just because you are a child of God, people will get up on your trail. Because of who you are and whose you are, people will begin to test you sometimes. And so Amalek began to battle against brings Israel as the most vulnerable. And sometimes when you're in your resting place, when you're not expecting to have to fight, that's when people will get up on your trail.
Yeah.
And so then the second point is that we need to ask for help. So after we surrender, we need to ask for help. And so Moses tells Joshua, he said, go and pick you out some men.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. He said, I'm going to go to the top of the hill with the rod in my hand.
Yeah.
And all I need you to do is fight. Aren't you glad when you just had some folks who were interceding on your behalf?
Yeah.
You didn't even know that you were in trouble, but you had some folks who were interceding on your behalf. You didn't have to do nothing. All you had to do is stand there and fight. And as you were fighting, God began to speak up on your behalf.
Yeah.
So Moses understood that the rod that he had was powerful. He understood the power that was in his hand.
Yeah.
The Bible declares that when he was called to the ministry, and I said God had called him in Exodus 4, it said that God begins to, he said, Lord, he said, what am I going to say to these people? What am I going to do? God said, what's in your hand?
All right.
He said, there's a rod in my hand.
Yeah.
And God said, cast it down to the ground.
Yeah.
As he cast it down, it turns to a snake. And God said, grab it by the tail. He said, grab it right now. As he grabs it, he said, turn it back into a rod. God said, reach your hand to you. He said, then he gave a leopard his hand. And God said, you got to understand what's in your hand. God has already prepared some stuff for us. It's up to us to know what's on the inside of us. We've been complaining, we've been worrying, but God said, all you got to do is lift up your hand. The thing that you've been worried about, the thing that you've been crying over, just lift up your hands. And if you just lift them up, it's something that's on the inside of you that begin to speak up. And so, as Moses lifts up his hand, that's just signifying that he's reaching out.
Yeah.
What reaching out means? Reaching out means you're trying to establish communication with someone.
Yeah.
And so, as you're trying to create some communication, I'm not trying to create communication with myself because I know I can't handle it by myself. But I serve a God that told me that when my enemies come, that he'll make my enemies my footstool. As the Bible declares, he said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against me, it shall be cast down. And so I'm telling you on today, Pleasant Grove, because of who you serve, all you have to do is lift up your hand. Begin to reach out to the Lord, and God will make a way out of no way. And so the Bible declares that, he said, on tomorrow I'm going to go up on the hill. He said, I'm just going to lift up my hand. He ain't saying he's going to do anything else. He said, I'm just going to lift up my hands. And so as he goes on top of the hill, the Bible declares that as Joshua is fighting with the people, he began to hand it over to the Lord. And all he was doing, as he had his hand lifted, as I began to study this, he was just signifying, Lord, it's in your hand. I just want to tell you on today, if you didn't catch it, if you would just lift up your hands, God is just getting ready for you to hand it over to him and just say, Lord, I need your help. It's in your hands. If your child is acting up, it's in your hands. If your church is going through turmoil, it's in your hands. If you got an illness in your body, it's in your hands. The doctor said, I don't know what else to do. Lord, it's in your hands. When you're giving everything up for you, said, I don't know what else to turn. Somebody lift up your hands and say, everything is in your hands. I don't know what else to turn. I may not have a job, but Lord, it's in your hands. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, put it in his hands. If you lift your hands up, Lord, it's in your hands. The Bible declares that every time Moses lifts up his hand, and his hand is lifted, it says Israel prevails. But when his hand gets a little tired, every time they begin to Lord, it says Amalek begins to prevail. But I want to tell you on today, sometimes you're going to get tired in your life. But when you put it in the Lord's hand, it's enough power on the inside of him to begin to handle everything that you ever encounter. Sometimes the devil wants to beat us down. Sometimes the devil wants to tire you out. And if your hand begin to fall, will begin to win, but when your hands are lifted, drug houses have to move. When your hands are lifted, marriages will last longer. When your hands are lifted, when the devil desires to attack you, you'll begin to win. When your hands are lifted, the community will get stronger. When your hands are lifted, Planet Grove will grow. When your hands are lifted, souls will be saved. When your hands are up, the devil knows that he can't be God on today. So then the third and final point is keep your hands up. So if you surrender, ask for help, then keep your hands up. So the Bible declares that as his hands started to get a little heavy, it said he started to get tired. Say hands started to fall. So this tells me on today you got to have some folks around you who's able to support you in the battle, Superintendent Smith. Not everyone around you understand what you're going through. Not everyone around you should be in your circle. You need to have some folks on your side that's going to pray for you. You need to have some people around you that's going to support you. And so when you begin to fall, when you get tired, you got somebody that's able to lift you up. So you got to have the right people with you in the battle. And so as Moses' hands get tired, it said Aaron and her recognizing that he getting tired. So the Bible never declares how long the battle was, but it says hands are tired. So sometimes interceding, which means to step in on somebody else's behalf, sometimes that gets tiring along the way. When you're the only one in your family that's doing everything, when you're the only one that's praying for people and nobody's praying for you, when you're the only one that's coming down to the church mowing the grass and making sure everything is up, making sure the air is on, it gets tiring sometimes. Sometimes you're the only one that's doing everything in your family, it gets tiring. So you want to give up along the way. And so when it said that his hands got heavy, that just means that he got tired. And so he's interceding on Joshua's behalf. And notice that Joshua didn't have to pray, but Moses was doing the praying for him. I need somebody behind me that's not just going to watch me, but I need some folks that are going to pray for me. Don't just pat me on my back, but pray for me. Don't just talk about it, but do it on today. Don't just tell me I can make it through, but pray for me. Somebody's in the hospital, and the only way that they're going to make it through is if you pray for them. I don't need you to tell me that I'm going to make it through, but I need you praying on my behalf. And so, Moses said, I'm too old to fight. He said, I got too old on this journey. He said, but what I can do, this thing that I can do, I can pray for you. And so he's praying on his behalf. And her also knew their position because they knew they couldn't do what Moses does. And so they said, Lord, so we're going to stand here and we're going to support you. And so I want to tell you on today, the battle is going to take a toll on you. And so Aaron and her said, okay, we see that he's starting to fall. And said, as he begins to fall, that suddenly they begin to take a stone and they slide it underneath them. Deacon shower, and as they slide it underneath him, not only did they know he had to sit down, but knew his hands were tired. They said, so one got on one side, the other got on the other side. They said, we're going to take your hands. And we understand that the battle is being won because your hands are up. I need somebody to understand what the key to the battle is. I need some people who are like-minded. I know some folks, need some folks to understand that prayer will change some things. You've been complaining, you've been worried about it, but I understand that prayer changes things. Stop crying about it, be about it, pray sometimes. Get down on your knees, get your hands up, and begin to pray on this journey. I'll tell you, you'll make it through after a while. So they lifted up his hands. And so, as Moses' hands lifted, if you get tired, Deacon shower, then sister showers ought to be able to lift your hands up. After pastor gets tired, then the church ought to be able to lift his hands up. And so somebody get on one side, the other get on the other side. I need somebody in this building that's willing to tell your neighbor, just keep your hands up. Somebody came into this building, needed to be encouraged, but just keep your hands up. I don't need you to fight with me, but I need you to trust me in the battle. I don't need you to look at me, but I need you to support me. Keep your hands up in the battle. One on one hand, the other on the other side. It says, so then they held it steady until the going down of the sun. That means that they had it firmly fixed. The hands didn't even shake, they didn't even move. So that tells me that by myself I might be weak, but when I get some other folks on my side, we're stronger together. The Bible declares, I'm just going to put it like this. Matthew 18 and 20 tells us that for where two or three are gathered in my name, there I am with them. I'm in the midst on today. So that tells me that if I'm here by myself, the church may not last. But when I get some folks on my side, when I get some people that are willing to pray with me, then the church is going to last on today. So they all started interceding on his behalf. The Bible declares that, and as I go home, that his hand was steady to the going down of the sun. It said that Joshua discomforted people, and not only did he discomfort, that just means that he killed them with the edge of the stone. So I want to tell you on today that as I go to my seat, that all you have to do in the midst of your trouble is keep your hands up. Somebody been going through some things in your life. You've been going through everything in your life, but all you got to do is surrender. Then I need you to ask for help, but then I need you to keep your hands up. I want to look at you on today and say, I'm coming out with my hands up. I can't handle it by myself. But somebody look at the Lord and say, I'm putting it in your hands. The churches in your hands. My family's in your hands. I want to tell you on today that all you have to do is keep your hands up. Back in 2017, there was a tornado that came through Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And I want to tell you there's a college there called William Carey University. After that thing destroyed everything, there was Jesus standing in front of the church as a statue of Jesus, and the only thing that was left standing was Jesus with his hands up. I want to tell you all today, if you put it in the Lord's hand, those trials may come, the winds may blow, when you put it in his hand, he'll begin to handle some things. All you have to do is come out with your hands up. Somebody say, I'm coming out against sickness. I'm coming out against pain. And my family's acting up. When I put my hands up, God will begin to change some things. God will begin to work some things out. hands are lifted, when we put our hands up, the devil cannot prevail. As you go through this process, just keep your hands up. Life has a way of beating us down, but put your hands up. You're going to come out of it better than you went in. These people had forgot what God had already done. So Moses, as a leader, said, I got to make an example. He said, I'm just going to go out tomorrow. I got something in my hand. I got something in my hand that can handle Civil Creek's problem. I got something in my hand that can handle Byron's problem. I got something in my hand that can handle Mississippi's problem. And so I've been waiting for a politician to do it, but it was in my hands the whole time. Put your hands up. And as you lift your hands up, God will begin to handle whatever it is that we need him to do. His hand. God said, those who are holding my hand, that the devil in hell can't pluck them out. When the devil tries to attack you, somebody's been under attack all week. Before you even came to church, you were under attack. But God said, lift up your hands. He said, I'm getting ready to come through for you. So I'm just putting you under arrest on today. I need you to actually surrender, because somebody who said, I'm going to give it to God, then you take it back. But when you got your hands up, you can't grab anything. Keep your hands clear. Let God handle that thing. Whatever it is you've been trying to handle, God's already handled it. When the doctor shook his head, said, I don't know what else to do, it was in his hand. So I'm just saying that God can come through for me. And because I know that, I need to let somebody else know. So Moses said, I can't fight this battle. But what I can do, I can pray. Everybody's been trying to fight, just pray sometime. And let the Lord handle it. God will work it out all right. God can do it. I don't know about you, but I got my hands lifted. I ain't worried about it. Anything I've been going through at work is in his hands. Anything I've been going through at home is in his hand. Financial problems in his hand. My children are in his hand. The youth are in his hand. And because it's out of my hand, God will handle that thing. We mess up when we try to handle it. But we actually put our hands up and say, Lord, I can't handle it no more. God can handle it. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, put your hands up. I'm coming out tomorrow. I got a Moses spirit. On tomorrow, I'm not handling it no more. When I leave out the door, I'm not handling it anymore. Because it's in God's hands. And I know by the end of the week, everything is going to be fine. Come to Jesus. We're standing. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. He will save your soul. Come to Jesus. Anybody know he'll save your soul? The song said, right now you ought to lead it from your heart. You ought to lead